Hello, good afternoon, good evening.
Our speaker for today is a First Lieutenant of the AFP Reserve Command. He is also the former Executive Director of the International Association of Business Communicators and an esteemed judge of the Quill Awards, the most prestigious award in business communication in the world. He also has a master's in public management and has a Bachelor of Arts in Organizational Communication from the University of the Philippines. He also has a certificate in Project Management 101 from the Ateneo Center for Continuing Education. He is also a graduate of the Strategic CMO Officers Course, AFP CMO School 2013. He was also awarded Best Service 2017 in the AFRESCOM Wide Company Grade. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome the President and Program Director of HANDA, Mr. Earl Gerard P. Gamboa.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the short introduction. Today, I'm going to share with you my knowledge about disaster risk reduction and management. And I'm going to talk about it in the field of the non-profit or the non-government sector. Before everything, I would like to congratulate the new president of Rotary Club of Chinatown, Mr. Barry S. Dumlao, and thank ang kanyang mabuting may bahay na si Miss Lisa Dumlao for inviting HANDA to speak to you tonight. Disasters have plagued man since time immemorial. But this year, 2020, can be said to be a different year. It can be said that this year has been plagued by much disasters such as the Australia forest fires, the Amazon forest fires, the Taal eruption, and now the COVID-19. So, since the beginning of mankind, humans have faced disasters but have not seen a cure for it. There's no cure for disasters, but what we can do is we can always prepare and we can always manage it well. So I've heard, in the light of COVID-19, I have seen a Facebook post from a general. I'm sorry I forgot his name, but what he said was, what we did in this calamity is we made doctors, nurses, policemen, firemen, soldiers as the first line of defense. He said that strategy is somewhat wrong. What should we have done is we have placed the individual and the family as our first line of defense. Because COVID-19, we have seen that these modern day heroes are the people that sometimes considered as small. These are your everyday janitors, security guards, delivery personnel. All of them have risen to the occasion, no matter how small their salary is. These heroes are the families that chose to provide for themselves and even donate to good causes because they couldn't expect it from anyone else. They are your heroes. Starting now, we should start seeing them differently. At the start of COVID-19, have you observed that the number of homeless people, what we call the vagabonds, some already irate at the government's response, have increased even at your own doorstep. They are already at our own streets or at our own doorstep. If this is not controlled and the situation deteriorates, they can turn into undesirable elements. Crime rates will go high, looting and riots may ensue. We don't want that to happen. Do you know in other countries, instead of panic buying food, the preppers did not panic buy food first. What they did was they bought bullets, which is a very bad scenario. So to provide you with a military perspective, the operations itself of a disaster management is about saving lives. But the controlling of these kinds of scenarios, which I have mentioned before, like the vagabonds, the homeless on the street, the people already irate at the government, this should be the CMO aspect, the civil military operations aspect of a disaster response operation. So We do not do CMO, which are medical missions, feedings for CMO itself. So there are numerous benefits of doing these kinds of operations, such as endearing the populace to the organization, such as the AFP or the government or the NGO, or it could be used for information gathering. Or lastly, it could be used for recruitment of possible force multipliers, etc. So NGOs are very important even to the military's mission. So important that it's included in the infantry manual of the Philippine Army, Military Science and Tactics as early as the 1960s, that NGOs are recognized as vital installations that the infantry should activate and protect, much like how they would protect utilities such as power plants and water dams. So ganun po ang kaimportante ang mga NGOs at non-profit organizations. Winning the vagabonds, the homeless, and the underserved, again, I would like to say, is the civil-military operations aspect of the disaster response operation. So what are NGOs not for? NGOs are not for the mere replication of government efforts. Hindi po siya para ulitin lang ang mga ginagawa ng gobyerno. Hindi po siya para gayahin ang ginagawa ng gobyerno. At mas lalo na po, hindi po tayo ay, alam po natin na hindi po tayo ay nakikisawsaw lang o nakikialam sa mga government efforts. But what are NGOs for? NGOs should mirror the people instead of mirroring the government. Because what is our specialty? NGOs provide the people a collective voice and a critical mass. NGO capability is what an individual can do by himself or herself, but it is amplified by its membership, influence, and resources. NGOs can and should maintain the fabric of society because this is the NGO's advantage. This is the NGO's advantage. We are closest to the people. Sometimes we are the people itself. So, the difference with government and NGOs, government concern itself more on law and order and continuity of government's agencies' provision of basic services, while NGOs should concern itself about the fabric of society and the culture we are living in. So, by providing aid, we provide people a semblance of normalcy during these times of disasters. And the semblance of normalcy contributes to the overall peace and order situation of the country. So efficiency is key in disaster management. Disaster management is all about saving lives. Number two, it's maintaining the fabric of society and maintaining a sense of normalcy by ensuring that the basic necessities such as food, water, and shelter are given. It is also equipping the people with disaster equipment and knowledge and skills through training. So, for disaster management to be successful, it should be the management and allocation of the resources at your disposal, and it's also the concentration and collaboration of human and organizational efforts. As a disaster management, you are orchestrator. So I've attended trainings and seminars, some civilian and some are military grade, such as the incident command system, and it all boils down to this. You are the orchestrator as a disaster manager. It's much like the conductor of the orchestra, seeing the smallest details down to the biggest picture. So that is your role in disaster management. So how can this be done? By building an effective and efficient system or platform, much as what we have done last 2018 and what we have seen in action this 2020, which is HANDA organization. So our disaster response model, HANDA recognizes that the individual and the family is our first line of defense. So in times of normalcy, what do we do to the individual and the family? We inspire them, we motivate them, we equip them, and we train them. But in times of disaster, we rise to the occasion by responding to them, by protecting and providing for them, and we activate them. Lastly, we activate them to contribute to the effort of disaster management. So our programs are here. Where I'm going to show you these short videos to show what our programs are. Those are our programs and projects. I hope you can find the time to support them somehow. If you find it connected to your strategy or to your mission. And to end, I would like to say that our lives may end, but disasters are perpetual and a perennial problem of society. It may change in form, but it will always be there. So disaster readiness is a great legacy that we can provide our children. Think and act 10 steps ahead. Even just 2 years young, founded last 2018, HANDA has proven and demonstrated its capability to be an effective and efficient platform in handling disasters in urban NCR this year of 2020, especially in the COVID-19 case. Your collaboration and support can amplify our operations capability tremendously before and during disasters. So what do we want you to do? Our call to action is, we're telling you that the next disaster is surely on its way. It should not catch us unprepared. We all should prepare, be ready, collaborate and support each other's efforts, promote a culture of readiness, provide the ordinary Filipino with knowledge, skills, and equipment to weather the disasters. Thank you very much for listening. May we all have a good day. Maraming salamat.